Morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Unlock Show. I'm Tracy Wilson, and I'm going to be your host for the next 30 minutes. Thanks so much for joining me here today. Hey, look, I always love jumping on these. As you know, I say that over and over and over again, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I honestly really do enjoy jumping on these every Wednesday and Friday here for me in Australia, and I know for you guys in other places of the world, it's probably Tuesday, and when I do a Friday show, it's a Thursday. Today, I wanted to talk about something a little bit different, which is like how to design the life that you actually want. And this may sound like, holy cow, how do I actually do that? Like, actually design a life that I want. Well, I'm going to share with you today some really simple things that you can do to have everything that you ever wanted in your life. And it is really simple to do when you know how. Now, there's a few things I'm going to talk about today that might be a little bit uncomfortable for some people. It's going to require you to make some choices and some decisions, but know that it's okay. I'm going to guide you every step of the way. I also want to say thank you very much to the team at Metadime Digital, because all of these sessions that are being brought to you are actually brought to you by the team at Metadime Digital, which is a channel where we bring together, like-minded people that share all of their skills, their expertise on various different shows. And right now, some of you guys are probably watching these inside of the Success Secrets for Business, Family and Life group on Facebook. So if you're here, welcome. Great to have you inside of our group. If you're not there, guys, you've got to get yourself on over to Facebook and get yourself inside of the group. Why? Because not only will you get to watch my show in there, but you'll also get to watch multiple other shows from other people in different countries all over the world. We have guest speakers talking about everything that can help you thrive in your business and your family and your life. So if that's what you want, then that's the place to come and get it. So yeah, yay for the Metadime team. So let's get the show on the road. Let's talk about how to design this life that you actually want. And I can see that there's a bunch of people joining me today. So hi to Vicky, Sylvia, Kellen, Scott. I can see a bunch of you guys here. So if you want a little shout out to me and say, hey, I'm here, Trace, and let me know where you're dialing in from. It's always great to see you guys are here. And also these sessions are also now being turned into a podcast. So if you can't always join these live, head on over to the metadimedigitalco.com website, and you'll also find that there are links to all of our shows that can also be listened in podcast format. So for those of you guys that are listening on the podcast right now, welcome. Thanks so much for being here too. Okay, so let's talk about this: how to design the life that you want. How did this topic even come up? Well, as you know, I've spoken before about the fact that I kind of I'm a planner. I like to plan different things out. I like to kind of know where I'm going and what it is that I'm trying to create in my life. So I spend a lot of time, or I have done in the past, thinking about what do I actually want in my life? What do I want my life to look like? And that really has started with, what sort of person do I want to be? And I'm talking today, I want to share this with, this is a message for everybody, no matter where you are in your life, no matter how old you are. And in fact, I am hoping that this message is going to get out to a lot of young people, because I'm wishing that I had had the opportunity to hear the information I'm going to share today when I was very young, because it's something that I certainly don't teach you in school, and my parents never really spoke about it. So one of the things that I've said, one of the things that I do is really think about, what do I want my life to look like? What sort of person do I want to be? And how do I want my, things in my life to unfold? And like I said, if I had realized this way back when, and I had been thinking about this in my teenage years about, dreaming about what do I want to be? What do I want to do? And then actually knowing how to bring that about into my life. I actually go back, and this has just reminded me right now of an instance where I got, actually this particular day, I got in a lot of trouble. So this, for those of you that have listened to my story way back, right at the beginning of all of these episodes, you will know that my husband and I have been together for a long, long time. Like, we got together when we were like 12 years old, young kids. Who would have thought that, 30 odd years later, we're still happily married. So anyway, I can remember this particular day. I got up got up in the morning, and John had rung me, and we were going to go and watch him play softball for the day. And I had been told, you got to be home by 2:00 in the afternoon. And anyway, 2 o'clock rolled around, and Tracy and her wisdom decided, nah, I don't think I want to go home just yet. I'm having too much fun. I'll stay down at softball. Well, anyway, that particular day in the place that we lived, it was a small town, so you could walk like from one side of the town to the other side of the town. I didn't have any of the, not the luxuries of today where mum and dad will put you in the car and drive you to all of your sports and wait and, put you in the car and take you home. If you wanted to get somewhere, well, you got on your bicycle or you walked everywhere if you wanted to go somewhere. So anyway, this day we'd walked across the town, got into John's softball game, watched his softball, and then we decided that we would just walk home, and we would dawdle all of the way home. And this particular day we decided that we would stop in at our local school, which we used to call it it was a playground, it was a fort. And I can remember as a 12 or 13-year-old kid, we were just sitting on this fort and we were talking about our future, and obviously dreaming and just making up, what we thought back then was stories about what our life would look like. And funnily enough, I remember that so vividly about the conversation that we had, how many children we would have, where we would be living, what sort of things we would be doing, we would get married, blah, blah, all of these things, which you think back to that childhood. You would think that was just, pie in the sky dreaming. However, all of the things that we spoke about that day have come to fruition. And like I said, I got in some really deep trouble that day because we got a bit away with ourselves, romanticizing, as my dad would say, about the different things that we would do and where we would go, and we'd travel the world and this, that, and the other. And before we knew it, it was dark, and our parents had to get in the car and start coming to look for us. So, needless to say, I will leave the rest to your imagination to determine what actually happened to me that evening. I got in some serious trouble. So anyway, that wasn't a story that I was going to tell, but it just came into my mind about, gosh, when I was 12 years old, I was actually thinking about this stuff and starting to really think about, what did I want my life to be like? What sort of person did I want to be? How would that all come about? And as I got a little bit older, I started writing these things down. I started writing down, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? What sort of person do I want to be? And, there was a period of time probably between my, early 20s through to my 40s, when I got to, age 40, where I was in this moment of, I was actually quite frightened, scared to do things, scared to make decisions about things because through fear of what people would think and what people would say. So I've got a couple of banners that I actually want to pull up, and these are things that I've obviously thought about and thought, gosh, when you think about, let me just put this one up firstly, what we have in our life. So everything that we have in our life is really a reflection of the choices that we make. So if that's the case, if everything we have in our life is a reflection of the choices that we make, that's a really good story. And the reason being, we are in control of the choices in which we make. So if we are in control of the choices in which we make, we have the choice to make the decision and make the choices that align us with what it is that we want and what we want in our life. So if you kind of start back at, dreaming and thinking about and being really I'm going to say even whimsical about the things that you want in your life, and thinking big picture, really big, and even some of the stuff that maybe frightens you, start writing that down. Like start thinking about designing the life that you want. The other thing I would say, and this is the reason that I think it's so important that young people dial in and even listen to these sort of messages, because when you understand that you have a choice, you have the ability to make choices about everything in your life. And I mean everything. So one of the big choices that you are going to have to make, particularly as a young person, is who you decide to spend your life with. We've all heard about, the fact that we're the culmination of the people in which we surround ourselves with. So when you surround yourselves, it doesn't just mean the people that live outside of your household. And quite frankly, the person that you are going to spend the most time with is going to be the partner in which you choose. So I would say, choose really carefully. When you understand what sort of life you want, you're then going to be able to choose really carefully about the type of partner that you want to have in your life, and are you aligned to move in the same direction? And I would say, I'm going to get my husband on here. I'm just trying to convince him to jump on a show with me. So let me know if you guys want John to jump on a show with me, and we'll sort of talk a little bit about our background and I suppose how we've managed to have a really happy marriage for 30 odd years and bring up our kids. So we'll share some of that stuff. I've asked him to, and he's a little bit shy to do so. So he might need a little bit of encouragement from you guys to tell him, please jump on a show and share some of that stuff. So anyway, where I was going with that was because I've been lucky enough to be able to choose a really good partner, but I've also seen some of my, my peers, my family members who maybe have not used, been really aware of what it is that they want in their life and made choices that, particularly in the partner space, that have helped them to have that alignment. So what I'm going to say with that is just, choose carefully when it comes to, choosing your life partner, and just make sure that you're on the same page and know that you are worthy of having absolutely everything and anything that you want in your life. So there's also, if you think about us being, human beings and what it's actually taken for us to be birthed and to get on, on this planet Earth and to have the life that we have a 1 in 400 trillion chance of being who we are. Now, if you think about that, that is massive, massive odds. There is no mistake of you actually being here. I mean, that's huge odds of actually being, in on this planet and having this life. So if you think about that you were chosen and you had this opportunity, you've got this opportunity now to live your life, not just be in it and go through the motions, but to actually really, truly live it, live the moment, be present and enjoy it, then wouldn't you want to design something that you're going to really enjoy? The other thing I'm going to say is that when we're born, when you look at babies, most babies are really happy. You say, would you guys agree with that? Like most babies, like they're happy little things, they smile, they laugh, so you can understand then that happiness is actually a factory reset. We already come with happiness already built into us. So again, the choice for us we make the choice to be unhappy. So if happiness is already built into us, we are born with it, and it is a factory setting, then why would we choose anything else? So even though I'm talking about, designing your life and how to design the life that you want, what I don't want you to do is try and design something on the premise that if I design this type of life and I design that I've got all of these things, then I will be happy. You don't want to do that. You're actually coming at it from totally the wrong direction. What you want to do is you want to choose right from the get-go that I'm just choosing to be a happy person. I'm choosing to live my life sitting in happiness. And if you can do that, then you can start coming at everything from that point of view. So just wake up in the morning. Today is a happy day. I am a happy person. And if you are not, well, make a change. Make the choice to be one. If you're a friggin' miserable person, do something about it. Make a new choice and choose to be happy. And I know you can do it because, like I said, you were born that way. And if you were born that way, it is absolutely possible for us to be happy all the time. So choose to be happy. Then start thinking about, now, what do I want in my life? What do I want my life to be like? What sort of person do I want to be? What sort of mother do I want to be? What sort of, partner do I want to be? What sort of business owner do I want to be? So on and so forth. You're kind of getting the gist that this all starts with, choosing what you want, choose to be happy first, then start to design what you want based on the type of person that you want to be. And then once you've decided what sort of person you want to be, you then can just start deciding, okay, well, what sort of things do I need to do to ensure that I can continue to be that kind of person? And usually if you come at it from that angle too, you start being that person, everything else just naturally unfolds. I've got a few notes here today because I just as I was thinking about this particular episode, I had a few different things kind of come up. The other thing is this, is that a lot of people really get stuck when it comes to, wanting things in their life. And I can remember, being a young girl, and this just came to me a little bit earlier today. It was like I could hear my, with one of my parents saying, want. You're always wanting something. And I don't know if that was directed at me or at my siblings, but I can remember my parents saying that. That's really made me think about, well, is that necessarily a bad thing? It is a bad thing if you're always wanting something to make you happy. But if you're wanting something because you're already happy and you're just wanting to create, more abundance for yourself, more abundance for other people, there is nothing wrong with that. And I would say go for it and create the life of your dreams. Like, get really big and bold about what it is that you want. Write it down. In fact, for those of you that are actually watching, here's my diary here, and I've gone back and I've read this over and over and over again about, what is it that I want? What is the vision that I have for the future? The other thing that I do, so I write that down really clearly. What is the vision that I want for me in my life now and in the future? And then I also write down, there's this one here that says, what is the future that you fear? Because you can imagine that we are driven by either we get motivation and we're driven by either our fear. So we're running away from something. We want to get away from something that we don't want, or we're more compelled to go towards something that we actually do want. So you can use the fear of things as an actual driver to help you move towards the things that you actually want. So an example of this, I had a client a little while ago. I'm just going to pop this up. So I had a client a little while ago, and she came to me and she said she was just having anxiety attacks. They were fearful. Their business was in trouble. That she just wasn't sure where to go. And we were in this state. So I'm going to say you can either use your fear to drive you or to debilitate you. You have the choice there. So she was in this mode of debilitation. She felt like paralyzed and not sure what to do and where to go. And her biggest problem was that she was stuck in the fear of, oh my God, this might happen. So the thing that I actually had to get her really comfortable with was comfortable with the worst case scenario. So that might sound really like, well, I don't really want to go down that path. That's really uncomfortable for me to do that. But when you're designing out your life and you're trying to understand, what are the things that I actually want, you also need to understand what are the things that you don't want. And then you need to understand, like, what are the things that you're actually really fearful of. When you start writing down, or you start thinking about, the future that you fear, it becomes very, very real. And you can then utilize the fear of what your future might be like if you do not make a choice and you do not make changes, what the future will hold if you do not take action. So you can really use both of those things. You can paint a pretty picture about what it is that I really want. You can also paint a really dark picture about, this is what would happen, could happen, will happen if I do not make some choices, I do not make some changes, and I don't do them now. When you get those two contrasting pictures, I know you're going to make a choice about which one you want to move towards. And most cases, 99.9% of the time, you are going to make the choice towards the one that you want. And you will use the picture, that dark picture of what could happen if you don't make some choices. You will use that as your motivator. So that's the way in which I've utilized both of those things to help me move in the direction that I want. Also, you then will use those two pictures to determine what choices you make. So when you get to a crossroad and you start thinking about, what should I do? Should I go down this path? Should I make this business decision? Should I move house? Should I, all the decisions that we come up with time and time again, you can then look back to the picture that you've created, the word picture, the very descriptive word picture of what it is that you're trying to create in your life. And if the decision the decision that you are going to make, is it going to help me move towards the picture that I'm wanting to create for my life, or is it actually going to move me down a pathway that I don't want? You use both of those two things to help you make the decisions. So, like I said, happiness is an absolute factory setting, and we must choose to be happy, as often as we possibly can. Of course, you have other emotions. You get sad, you get fearful, all of those things. But knowing that your center point is to come back to, I'm a happy person and I can be happy. And therefore, the things that I'm going to be will help you to, you will then start being that person, and all the other things that you want in your life will slowly and gradually start to unfold. And as you start doing this more and more and more, the things will unfold a lot quicker. You'll start to find yourself, seeing opportunities. People will come to you because they'll be drawn to your energy and drawn to the fact that you are a positive person, and you're always thinking about, how can I make these things happen? So I'm going to, I don't, let me just have a quick look at this, because I may even read some of the things that I've actually written down in my diary. So obviously you don't normally share your diary because it's usually pretty private, but given that this is about helping people to really unlock what's going on inside you, help you to design the life that you want, I'm just going to read you just a little bit of kind of how I started, creating the vision of myself. And it goes on to say, I write this, I said, I excel in all areas of my business. My programs have grown to where I help thousands of people all over the world create financial well-being. I really enjoy paying bills and rewarding my team for a contribution that they make, because I always know that there is plenty of money to do so. I am never short of that. Money is piling up in my bank account, and I always enjoy spoiling my friends and my family. I mean, I go on, there's pages and pages of this about how I've, the things that I want in my life. And I absolutely love spoiling people. I love to give. And I know that the more people I can help, the more money I can make, the more I can give to other people, the more free things I can give away, the more of me I can give to others. So that is just a really short excerpt out of the vision of Tracy's future. And it's really interesting because even when I go back, like I'm looking at some of the goals that I've written in here. Excuse me flicking the pages, guys, but I just want to find a couple of sections in here. And I was looking back at it, and this is like back, I'm looking at my diary from 12 months ago, and in here the goal number 1 actually says share my gifts. And the key actions were to create Facebook Lives 5 per week. So I've actually changed that to, I'm now doing like a live show. So a Facebook Live would have been like a 5-minute segment. I'm now doing a 30-minute show twice a week. I've got my blog up. I'm doing a podcast. I'm creating all of my teachings. I've rejigged my Tracy and Wilson website. So a lot of things that I've actually written in here, I'm going back and I'm actually looking and ticking these things off. And even things like, how will my life improve when I achieve these goals? So that I'm giving you guys a bit of an insight into what I do, how I do it, and how you guys can pick up and run with whatever the things that resonate with you. If they sit with you well, then you can go away and you can implement these things into your life too. But I write here, how will my life improve when I achieve this goal? It says, I will feel confident. I absolutely do. I will be helping lots of people. Well, I'm hoping I'm helping you guys. I will be attracting money. Absolutely. I will be establishing authority in my market. So I've got very clear about the goals that I want. And then on the flip side, on another session, I might even share with you guys, the things that I feared, like the things that I've become very clear about, what I don't want my life to look like, and realizing that if I didn't make some changes, that could just as I'm trying to create a beautiful life and create, one that I designed for myself, if I didn't take charge of that, what it very much could look like if I didn't do something about it. So I would encourage you guys to do exactly the same. Get really comfortable with even the worst case scenario. I don't even think I finished telling that story. And the story was that I asked this person to write down all the worst case scenario. What's the worst thing that could happen based on all the anxiety and the thoughts that she was having? She wrote them all down that day. And we got to a point where she was like, okay, well, I can live with that. I can live with the fact that I might walk away from my business having $100,000 of debt. But all the other things, they're all okay. funnily enough, that particular person messaged me 1 year to the day. She had written it all down on a piece of paper, and she said, "Oh my God, I found this note where you got me to write down the worst case scenario. What would that look like?" She said, "And here it is." And guess what? 9 out of the 10 things that I had on that list never happened. They never eventuated. So the moral of that story is that often we worry and we cause ourselves anxiety for things that we fabricate, that we think are going to happen, and in fact they never do. And when you start to get really clear about designing what it is that you want in your life, showing up and being that person, it is amazing how 9 out of the 10 things never ever happened. So there is no need for you to worry. Everything will always be okay. So I wanted to share that with you because it was powerful. That particular person I'm super proud of. She's gone on. She's about to have a new baby in a couple of days' time, I believe. Brought a new house. These were all things that she had on her list that she never thought she would, be able to do because she was stuck in that deliberate, being debilitated. I didn't find that right word. Debilitated because she had these things going on in her head about the fear of what might happen. So here we go, guys. I'm just going to recap for you. So the simple fact that you are here on this earth and you have this life, I want you guys to live it. Live the best life you possibly can. We get to our final moments on this earth and just be really comfortable and happy that you did everything you could to live your life the way that you wanted to and the way that you designed it. So you can do that. The flip side is don't be afraid. We all are fearful of things. Use that fear to motivate and drive you. So just be clear about what it is so that you can identify it and be very clear about what it is that you want. Utilize the fear to drive you and motivate you to create new things. And also, like I always say, be prepared to step up, stand firm on what you believe in, and be prepared to stand out by sharing your messages. Get out there and share them because somebody needs to hear it, and somebody needed to hear this message today. So if that is you, I'm hoping that you're hearing this message loud and clear. Make some choices, start designing the life that you want. You are totally worth it, and you are here for a reason. So that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, always a pleasure. You can find these shows, like I said, on Facebook inside of the Success Secrets for Business, Family and Life. You can also go to the Metadome Digital Co. website. You'll find them there. And they are also now downloadable in iTunes, Stitcher, and a whole bunch of other places as a podcast. So if you want to, go and check me out on there, you can have me in your ears instead of having to watch me on screen. So thanks very much for joining. Pleasure to have you. I will be back here again on Friday. So go live your life unlocked and start designing it just the way you like. Talk soon. Bye, guys.